The word that I always remember you referring to in team talks was risk.
You're down 1-0 with 15 minutes to go. What's the point in sitting with your back four, your regular midfield and 2 strikers? What's the point in it? The risk is shove people in the box because the other team react to that. You shove 3 and 4 in the box, get the ball in there. That's the risk because you can lose the breakaway, the counter-attack quite easily. And we lost games that way. But the value is you score in the last minute or injury time. Remember the dressing room? It was electric. Absolute electric. The fans are going home. They can't wait to get to the pub to talk about. They can't wait to go home and tell their wife and their kids what it was like at Old Trafford to score in the last minute. That's the value. And if you're playing for our club, that risk should always be there.
So that was Sir Alex Ferguson there trying to explain to us what it means when we talk about Fergie time. And it typifies how we ended up beating Liverpool in that classic FA Cup drama. And that's how we start today's edition of United Today. Thanks for joining us. Always remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. We have a lot for you today. Are we going to see Gareth Southgate as coach of United? Well, I'll break that news down for you so you'd get to understand exactly what is happening with that. But what is wrong with our medical department? What has been happening to our medical department where we are seeing a lot more injuries? We've seen over 50 separate injuries so far this season. And it's quite alarming for a club in the stage of Man United. What is really happening with our medical department? Now, also, Bruno Fernandes has shared some interesting thoughts about the way Manchester United plays and why we play the way we do and not the way other teams like Manchester City or other teams play. Well, I would break that news down for you as well. And also a bit of transfer news here. I would also share them with you here on United Today. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's do a quick turnaround. When I come back, I break all the news down for you here on United Today. Thanks very much for joining us on United Today. As usual, just remember to hit the subscribe button. Very, very important for us. Hit the subscribe button for us. Okay, so what is really happening? Now, the latest person to be linked with Man United's job is the man Gareth Southgate. Southgate, as you know, is the coach of the English national team. Now, a lot of speculations have been happening with regards to Gareth Southgate, being linked with a job at Manchester United, and he's the latest coach to have been linked to the job. Earlier on, we've had the likes of Roberto De Zerbi, Simeone Inzaghi, Julian Nagelsmann, all of these other coaches being linked. But the latest man to be linked with the job is Gareth Southgate. He's currently coaching the English national team. He's been with them, played in the 2018 World Cup, nearly taking England to the final, played in the finals of the last Euros, took England back again to the World Cup, and is preparing the English national team for the next European Championship. Now, a lot of news that has been coming out of Old Trafford indicates that, not from Old Trafford, but from some media houses indicates that he's part of the names that have been penciled down for the job at Old Trafford. And as you know, Southgate is really, really admired by Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir David Brailsford for the work that he's done. Although, as you know, not many names, no name has been penciled to replace Erik ten Hag, and even a decision on Erik ten Hag hasn't been made as of yet. Jamie Jackson of the Guardian newspaper, released a report where he said that Erik ten Hag is actively involved in the planning for the transfer window. As you know, a lot of work has been happening behind the scenes with regards to the transfer window, and a lot more decisions to be made with regards to that. And also there is the preseason preparation that is also being made, where United will be in the United States to take on some teams. So Erik ten Hag's future has not been determined yet. But as you know, he has also not been guaranteed yet. So as a result of that, names keep coming. And it has to do with agents pitching their clients to Ineos, indicating that should Erik ten Hag be allowed to work, or should Erik ten Hag be relieved of his position, these are some of the coaches that they would want. And Gareth Southgate is the latest name that has been penciled. And the likes of Roy Keane and Gary Neville have all said that they wouldn't be surprised to see Gareth Southgate. I know a lot of us United fans aren't so enthused about this news about Gareth Southgate. Definitely not the coach you would want to replace a coach like Erik ten Hag. Personally, I don't feel that he is the one. But let's see how this news develops. But the news is that Gareth Southgate is the latest man to be linked with a job at Manchester United. So that's it with Gareth Southgate. Now, I asked the question in my intro that what's happening to our medical department. We've had separate injuries, 50 of them, injuries to some of our key players so far. So what is actually happening? Now, a very interesting news came out from Trivela talking about Casemiro. As you know, Casemiro pulled out of the Brazilian national team's call-up the night before the game against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Now, it is said that Casemiro felt an issue in his hamstring while training ahead of the game against Liverpool for the FA Cup. Okay, now that injury, which had already sidelined, and this is the injury that had already sidelined him over some few months ago. Now, it is felt that he had a feeling, he felt something in his hamstring. But he spoke to the United club doctor. They did an examination and felt okay, he could still go ahead to go and play. Now, Casemiro, according to Trivela, decided to seek the consent of a private doctor, and it was revealed that there is a small injury in there which has to be treated. And if it is not, it might aggravate to a far bigger injury that's likely to affect him, Casemiro. So the question I ask myself is, why is our medical department not getting themselves involved in all of these things, or finding themselves in this situation where a lot of players are getting injured? And this is a clear case of a player who is injured, but I don't know if it is the medical department failing to properly diagnose some of these injuries. And you've heard about the issue of Malacia, who has suffered a lot of relapse with regards to the injury that he's having. So what is really happening? 50 separate injuries so far in a season. We think that the medical department needs to be re-looked at. Something definitely is going on there that has to be properly looked at to be able to see how best we deal with some of these things. It's not right, it's not proper for a club in the stature of Man United to be suffering this kind of issues with regards to our injuries and all of that. It needs to be checked, and it's something that we need to pay close attention to. It's very, very, very important with regards to that. All right, so that's it with the medical department, and I feel a lot more needs to be done with regards to that. Now, Bruno Fernandes is on international duty, and he's been in his home country, Portugal, where they are preparing for some international friendly games that they'll be playing. One of the key debates that has happened this season has been the style of football that United playing. Erik ten Hag stated at the beginning of the season that United will be playing transition football, and you understand transition football, fast breaks, how we quickly attack when we receive the ball, we get the ball back, and all of that. Now, Bruno Fernandes, in an interview with Ebola, a news tabloid in Portugal, has tried to explain why United is playing the way we play. And he had to even defend why he loses a lot of balls and all of that. But I would focus on why United play the way we play. Now, this is the quote from Bruno Fernandes. It says, "The identity of Man United has never been to play a lot of supported football. It is a team of great intensity, of intense and offensive football. That is the idea of the club. Sometimes you fall into the mistake of thinking that all teams have to play possession or have to play in possession of the ball. I want to play in possession of the ball. I want to have the ball as much as possible. It is obvious because the players who like to play with the ball want to have it as much as possible. But sometimes we have to fit into the environment we are in. And it is not possible to play in the same way as Man City because Man City has extremes of support. Very good one-on-one too, but footballers who really like to play in support and also inside. I can't ask Rashford and Garnacho, pure line extremes, to play inside in the same way that others who have started, who may have started their career as midfielders, as number 10s. And basically what Bruno Fernandes is saying is that if you look at the caliber of players we have and the way we play, we've fashioned out our game to suit the caliber of players we have. If you remember, Erik ten Hag, when asked about the style of football he wants to play, he made mention of something. And he said that he's combining what he learned at Ajax, that when he was coming from Ajax, his philosophy is to play possession football. But he has to look at the competencies of the players he has, and also the club's philosophy. And the club's philosophy has to be to play transition, quick transition, attacking football. So that's exactly what Bruno Fernandes is also reiterating. And I think it puts to bed a lot of the questions that people are asking about what type of football United is playing and all of that, which has caused a lot more debate. But remember, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said that a style of football will be determined. We don't know if it's going to be what United is used to or something new that is going to be developed. So that's what basically Bruno Fernandes is saying. That transition football is how United has played. And that is why United play the way we play. That's a very interesting one. Well, if you have a comment, you can leave it in the comment section for us. We'll be happy to read that for you. So that's what Bruno Fernandes is saying. Let's end this with some transfer news. And McDonnell of the Daily Mirror has said that United are weighing up a transfer for João Gomez of Wolverhampton Wanderers as a player to replace Casemiro in case Casemiro should be sold. So that's one name that has also come or popped up with regards to the transfer. So João Gomez plays centrally for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Very, very solid player. As to whether this move will material well, we'll be bringing you a lot more. And also Benjamin Sesko, who United were in for him 2 years ago when they were looking for a striker, but moved to RB Leipzig, has also come back as some of the names that United are in search for. United need defenders, United need midfielders, and also some strikers, and now a left back. And on the left back, a name that has popped up is Alejandro Balde of Barcelona. Alejandro Balde of Barcelona. I feel it's a very, very difficult deal to do, looking at how integral he is to Barcelona. But you can never say never in this transfer market. Just a few days ago, John Mertog and Matt Hargreaves were in Spain to see Barcelona, to see how things are going there. Well, it's very interesting. So that's how we cap off today's edition of United Today. Thanks for joining us. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. We have more news for you in our latest or subsequent updates here on this channel. Please remember, subscribe. It's very, very important to us. Have a great time and see you on the next one.